Nigeria has launched a new grade of crude called Nembe through a joint venture with Aiteo. Now, the first cargoes of Nembe were sold earlier in October, with two 950,000 barrel shipments sold to France and the Netherlands. Oyeyemi Oke, a partner at Aiteo joins me now for more on this discussion. Mr. Oke, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Now, we know that this new Nembe crude stream will be managed and marketed by a joint venture between the NNPCL and also the oil firm Aiteo Eastern E&P Company Limited. Now, this is the first of such crude marketing projects which is solely run by Nigerian entities. Let's really start first and foremost from this, your reading of this new development.
Well, I think it's good. It's good for the industry that we have a new blend of crude, which interestingly, as I hear it, is a sweet crude because of its sulfur content. So I think that's good. And it's also remarkable that this has been done by both an indigenous partner, by indigenous partnership between Aiteo and the NNPCL. I think what we should be happy about also is that the projected production, right, from this blend should be about or should add about 50,000 barrels to Nigeria's production per day. So I think this is good. Unfortunately, this development ought to have happened as far back as 3 years ago when it was initially discovered. However, the challenges as a result of the NCTL, which is the Nembe Creek trunk line, delayed this good news up until now. So I think in all, it's good, both for the producers and also good for Nigeria, one from a revenue perspective and also from a production perspective.
Okay, now, talking about crossing, just doing a little bit of a reflection now to 3 years ago, mitigating incidences of sabotage now, how do we continue to cross over these hurdles as we press forward and looking towards ramping up our production volumes?
Well, I think we should give some kudos to NNPCL with regards to some of their activities in the last quarter. I think in 1 week, I read that they were able to tackle about 41 different incidents of oil theft. So in terms of ramping up production, oil theft has to be faced frontally. And I've always been an advocate of saying, when you are dealing with oil theft, it has to be a multiplicity of methods. You just don't use one method. Perhaps maybe you concentrate on using violence and using the stick approach. You also have to tackle the socio-economical problems within the oil producing areas. You have to ensure the citizens within that area are effectively engaged economically so that they would not necessarily have to look to crude oil theft in order to make a living.
Well, let's talk about the numbers we are expecting now. The Nembe, for example, now the production volume is about 50,000 barrels per day, but the NNPC is aiming for about 80,000 by the first quarter of next year and about well over 150,000 barrels per day by 2025. It's quite interesting to see us put timelines, but the element of question is the feasibility. How achievable are these targets?
I think the NNPC has been setting quite ambitious targets since July. If you recall, as of July, the JMD of the NNPC had said that by November, perhaps at the next OPEC meeting, which should happen on the 26th of November, Nigeria will be going to seek for an increase in its production quota, perhaps from 1.7 million to about 2 million barrels. Now, if we look at that ambition vis-a-vis what we have in reality, the NNPC has tried, but actually there's still a bit of shortfall in terms of the production per day. And I wouldn't only say the NNPC, since it's a Nigerian production quota, As at today, or as at September, we're at
1.35
about
million.
exactly 1.3 million barrels per day. That means we're about 400,000 barrels short. Perhaps if we include the condensate numbers, which are not included in the production figures, perhaps we may get maybe a bit close to 1.7. But in terms of actual oil production, as at today, we are still hovering between 1.3, 1.5 million barrels per day. So I think in terms of the projections by NNPC to 80,000 barrels for Nembe crude, I think it's ambitious and I think it's good. This is part of the things that perhaps
Okay.
would make the company
Sure.
more economically valuable.
Okay, we'll have to leave the conversation here for now, but it's been a pleasure speaking with you, Mr. Oyeyemi Oke, and definitely we'll catch up later on timelines for the refineries as well to get your feedback on what the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources had said. Thank you so much. That was Oyeyemi Oke, a partner at AO2 Law.